We've got a couple days left, maybe, of some good golf weather. If you
Yes.
can find yourself a sunny moment, use the Salt Lake City Golf app to schedule your tee times at any of the great Salt Lake City courses. And coming up in a few weeks, you can use the app or the website to purchase your season passes for next year or to buy gift certificates for the holiday season. We are powered by T Box. You got to check out a T Box where they have cracked the code for the whole golfer experience with clubs, coaching, and community at tbx.golf. Check them out. You got to get yourself to a T Box. I'm sitting across the desk here from our co host, Jan Brownstein. Jan, good morning.
Good morning, Paul. How are you?
Good, good. It's getting a little chilly, Jan.
It,
We
it
are
is, but we still have one. We have a day of golf weather today. I'm not
uh,
sure if it's going to be good, but I know that it's going to be golf weather. One
you know,
last
we
day.
we need to talk about that for a minute, but let's introduce our special guests
Yes.
first. We are joined this morning by one of our favorites, one of the great leaders and luminaries of the Utah game. That, of course, is RT himself, Robert Thomas Sharp. Tommy Sharp, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Paul. Always fun to be here.
We love it when you're here with us, Tommy, and it's hard to do better than you, but we pulled it off today. We are joined by your son, Alex. I like me some Alex Sharp. Alex, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Paul.
Alex, we're so glad to have you here with us today. Tell our listeners who may not know you yet a little bit about yourself. You're Tommy's son. That's all I've said. Tell us how old you are, what you're doing in school, some of the things that tell us about you.
So I'm 12 years old, and I love to golf. I really love watching my dad golf. Me and my dad golf a lot together. I play baseball. I love just being outside, and
And you're recovering from a little accident there you had. I heard that you. I don't know how. I mean, I know how you did it, but I can't even imagine breaking both my wrists. I just.
Okay, we've got to hear.
I got
Tell
to hear
everybody.
this.
I know a little bit about it,
Yeah.
but Alex, tell us about this double wrist break.
so I fell off the playground at my school playing tag, and then I was trying to jump over the barrier because the person was trying to come and tag me, and then I jumped over the barrier, and then I tripped and slipped at the same time.
And did a swan dive right into the ground and snapped both of his
Uh,
wrists. But that was at the end of September, and as of this Tuesday, he got his braces off and he's free. And we actually hit golf balls 2 times this week, and I had to hold him back from hitting driver. He said he has no
yeah,
pain,
not a good
so
idea yet.
no, we're going to Bandon. He turns 13 in a week, and so we're going to Bandon in 5 weeks from yesterday. So I was nervous, but now I'm not nervous because I think he'll be able just fine to hit the ball, especially in a month.
Good,
It's
good.
it's funny how the young ones
Be,
they don't
Yeah, they're
really
lucky.
break. They're very resilient
I, I,
physically.
I break now, and it's usually in my sleep.
Yeah.
I don't even have
I
to
know.
fall
You don't
off.
even
I
have
don't
to
have to
fall
fall
off
off a
anything.
playground. My most dangerous
Well,
activity is sleeping.
Yes.
no, didn't I mean we could resurrect a little Tommy teasing about you breaking your foot
Oh,
on a
I forgot I
curb
actually
in
did do that. That's what
That's
I'm
Yes,
right.
mixing
you
my
I
words
did.
remember
now.
that.
Now I've
I
got a
remember
thumb, a shoulder, a knee, and a toe. I've
Yeah.
got my whole left side's broken.
That's right. But before we move on too far, I just want to give some mad props to the artistic savoir of this young man, Alex Sharp. Alex, tell us what colors you had your casts when you had those.
I was red and blue.
Oh, those were orange and
Orange.
blue. You know it.
Oh,
Those were
orange and blue. My bad.
orange and blue.
And you know why Paul says this? Because Paul went to the blue. He went to the school with the blue football field. He went to Boise
Orange.
State, so he loves
Yeah,
that you chose that because that makes him think you chose
It's
Boise
the first
State.
thing he said, Alex, when we saw
Boise
you
State.
at down at Black Desert. He goes, "I love Alex's cast
yeah,
colors." He
that's
thought
right.
they were Boise
You,
State, and I said they were Blippy, but I don't even know what that is. So
you got your cast to honor my Boise State golf history, right, Alex?
Yeah.
That's what he
Okay,
did.
thank you. Way to go with it, Alex. Way to go with it. Well, we are glad you're mending. We really, really are, and I'm glad you're going to be going to be okay for the Bandon
Yeah,
trip?
you're gonna go to Bandon
That was an
Dunes.
open
That's pretty
question, right,
exciting.
Tommy?
Yeah, I was definitely nervous when he did it. I started doing the math, and I was like, okay, it's 8 weeks. Then they say 12. I'm like, we're going at 11 weeks. This is going to be a little dicey, but I don't know. These kids are bionic. They're made of metal.
They bounce.
They're made
Yeah.
of rubber.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
point. Rubber's
they
better than metal.
bounce.
They just
I,
seem
uh,
to
I
flex
quit-
back
I
into
quit-
space.
I quit bouncing several years
Yes,
ago,
you did.
Tommy. I'm afraid to report.
You're more like you're more like a tumbler.
Yeah, no, when I fall down, I stick. I'm like Velcro.
Oh
I hit
no.
I hit the ground and just stick there. So,
Oh boy.
oh mercy. Well, one of the reasons that I wanted Alex to come in today, and one of the reasons I wanted Tommy to come in today, is because this show is dedicated to a wrap up and putting a bow on the Bank of Utah Championship at Black Desert that was played 3 weeks ago now, if I've got my calendar math right. And we've been it's taken a minute to gather our guest list together for today to get everybody in one place at one time. But I want to really focus on what it's like to be there, to play in it, to put it on, to sponsor it. Through the rest of the show, we will be talking in various ways about the Bank of Utah Championship. We will speak with John Coolbaugh, the tournament director. We will speak with Ashley Dove and Lacey Sansevera. Fascinating story. They are sisters who one works for the Bank of Utah, one works for Black Desert, and they are responsible for the Black Desert, for the Bank of Utah sponsorship. And then we will talk with Brandon Hansen, the president of the Bank of Utah, with his experience about being the title sponsor of one of these events. We're going to pull back the curtain and look behind what it takes to put an event like this on. But I wanted Tommy and Alex to come in because Tommy and Alex, you guys were a part of the story from the coolest possible vantage point. You were inside the ropes. Wow. What an accomplishment to get there. And Tommy, I let me just leave it general. What are your thoughts on pegging it and letting it fly in a PGA Tour event?
You know, it was an experience. We'll leave it at that broad word as well. But you know, really cool. It's exciting, obviously, being in the industry myself, teaching, playing, and so forth. And just cool to see what it's like inside, see what those guys are like, you know, when they're not on camera, and kind of what their lifestyle is. I'd say that was more or less the highlight for me.
What was it about the lifestyle? What did you see that we don't see?
You know, what's really interesting is I didn't realize until a couple days before that the practice rounds they don't sell tickets to that, and so the people can't come out and watch. And so, you know, on the range, the pros, they're mucking it up, and you're hearing them talk about their bets and this and that, and I'm like, okay, these guys are all just degenerates, just like all of us other golf pros.
Okay.
And I'm like, man,
actually, that doesn't surprise
no, it
me at all.
doesn't. And you know,
No.
and I
Who
won't, I
are
won't
we?
glorify too much, but the language on the practice range was a little appalling at times to me. But
Oh, yeah.
but
okay.
you realize
yeah.
these guys are all normal human beings, and you know,
I
and
have
just some
never
of the
dropped a bad
conversations.
word.
Yeah, me neither. and you know, and talking with the guys, I played with Braden Thornberry and Taylor Dixon.
Nice.
On the tee, and it was just funny hearing him talk. You know, we're on the tee one day, and Braden's like, "Hey, have either of you ever been to Mo Betta's?" You know, and I'm like really?
Actually, yes.
I said that, you know, and these guys are young starters on the tour, so they're not the billionaires that the Scotty Schefflers are of the world. So it's just kind of funny hearing him like, man, he's this glory, and he was all talking about how much he loves swig, and I was just like, this is so funny.
Was he LDS?
Yeah, that's what I kind of started thinking.
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
no,
I just couldn't help it because you're naming up all the things that make
that
us
was so
LDS.
funny, and I said something to him I'm like Mo Betta's. I'm like, really? That was your highlight of your food for you? I'm like, I've eaten it, but I'm like, I said to him, it's kind of like Taco Bell. It's really good when you eat it, but then about half an hour later, your stomach starts to hurt.
No.
And it's funny. I walk off the tee, and then my caddy, who's my best childhood friend, was still listening to him talk, and then Taylor, I think, said to Braden, he's like, don't listen to him. It's pretty good. So I
Well,
got
do you,
I
do
got
you remember? Do you remember after Victor Hovland won the FedEx Cup, $10 million? They said, "Does this change your life at all?" He goes, "Yeah, it does. I'm going to get extra meat at
yeah, I'm no
uh,
longer going to order off the dollar menu.
yeah, I'm no longer ordering
I'm
off
going to
the
order off the
dollar menu."
regular fast food menu.
Oh my gosh.
But no, I mean that honestly, that's the fun stuff. I mean, as you could probably imagine by looking at my scores, the golf wasn't terribly fun, to be honest. But
Okay, yeah.
but the
I
experience,
want to.
I hit up the PT trailer. I've been having some injuries. A guy worked on me, gave me a little routine. They did some interesting dry needling with electricity. That was quite an exciting
Wow.
experience. And I hit up the cold tubs each day, and I'd never done that. And I was like, man, this is a pretty nice life that they get to go around and do this stuff. And obviously the tour vans and the range and the premium golf balls you're hitting. That's the fun stuff. The golf, once that starts, it's the real deal. That's a different golf. And you forget sometimes. You watch them on TV and you see, oh, this guy hits at 300 yards, or oh, they shot 76. Oh, I could do better than that. I could, that golf is golf on steroids. That is not normal golf that they play.
No matter how good you think they are, folks,
They're better.
they're better.
Mm-hmm.
They are better. Yeah. They're visiting from Krypton. They're not like you and me. They are astonishingly skilled. And I think I'm interested in your take on this, Tommy, but I think their magic superpower is they don't give shots back. They don't make double bogeys. They turn doubles into bogeys. They turn bogeys into pars. They don't give shots back.
Yeah, and that's one of the really interesting things was my last tour event was the PGA Championship in 2016, and so seeing how the game has evolved in 9 years, it's actually, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's quite astonishing how far and how hard they hit the golf ball. Like you can't even fathom it. I mean, it's hard here in Utah because pretty much anybody that can hit it 300 yards here. The ball goes far here, and you think, oh, it's not that big of a difference. It's sea level and all that. And then you hear, I hit the ball, I remember on number 12, I hit a nice drive. I wasn't like grunting and hitting my hardest, but I think I hit it 310 the second day. And then I watch on TV the next day Michael Brennan drive the green 150 yards past me. It's like I don't even know how they do it, honestly. I don't know how the ball can go that far. And same thing, like at this tournament, the greens are relatively big, so in the fairways, you either hit fairway or lava. Nobody hits the rough there.
Nope. That's it's a fascinating that's a fascinating part of Black Desert, the course that Tom Weiskopf built. It produced last year the highest number of penalty shots for the field for the week in the history of the PGA Tour. 201 penalty shots. And it's for exactly the reason you just said. You're either on cut grass or you've lost your ball or you're taking a drop or whatever it is. You're in the lava, which is virtually unplayable. And
it's not virtually, it is unplayable.
It is unplayable. And
Possible.
and I think it took them a while to figure out there are some lines you cannot take. Step away from the shot, aim over here because you're gonna make six. And so that was a thing that happened last year, and it didn't happen again this year. So people are learning and adjusting. But there's one point I want to make about the inside the ropes thing there, Tommy. It was tough on you. We know that. But we also know what a great champion you are. Your record is unimpeachable. It is undeniable. It is thick and deep. Started when you were a very young man with a Utah State Am championship, and has moved on through several Players of the Year awards in the Utah Section PGA, where you've won just about everything there is to win, and ended up just this last week, T5 among the pros at the Southern Utah Open with a score of -5. You are still Tommy Sharp. And
Yeah, and if Tommy didn't do what he's doing right now and he only focused on golf, then that would be you. But you have a life, and it's very different in terms of, like you said, they're very spoiled.
And I would say I'm at a different phase too in my life.
Yeah.
Like at 45, I don't feel 45. Well, I do my body, but my maturity level certainly doesn't feel 45. But
It's not.
I think there was only 2 or 3 players in the field older than me, and so it's they don't set those courses up for 45-year-old club pros, and I totally understand that. but it's a completely different life, and I go into that, and I was even saying to Corey, my business partner and my own coach, I can't even imagine having to do this for a living. Like I was out there kind of just being able to enjoy the experience with my family out watching, and it was you're on borrowed time out there just having fun, and these guys are just grinding, and most of those guys aren't the already stables that have all the money in that. They're trying to keep their jobs and hang on, and I just can't imagine that stress of. Because if you don't get that job, your job is gone. It's not like, oh, I just take a little pay cut and I'll come back. It's like, no, it's gone. So,
Yeah.
But a lot of fun. I was surprisingly nervous, honestly, that first tee. Luckily, it was number 10. For some reason, that number 1 tee shot just really bothered my eye. But I liked number 10's tee a lot better. And I looked out. I saw Paul. I saw my kids. I saw a bunch of students. And I have a distinct pre-shot routine I normally do where I take it up to the top and kind of hold it for a second.
Yeah, you do.
And I forgot to do it there. I think that's like literally 2 million swings, and I've never forgot to do it. That's how nervous I was. I got over the ball, and I did a little waggle, and I thought, did I do it? I don't even know. Oh, just hit it. Just hit the ball. And I just swung, and luckily it went low and straight, and I'm like, oh, thank you. It's in play. And I walked off laughing. I said to my caddy and Corey, I said, I don't think I did my rehearsal. I was so nervous. And so it was a different deal than playing in the PGA. That was a little different. In my mid-30s, you still kind of like, oh, man, what an opportunity. And, you don't have all your family and friends. And I kind of underestimated how much that would affect me in the Utah tournament.
I love that story, Tommy, and you're in good company. Do you remember an old Australian pro named David Graham?
I do.
Won a couple of majors. One of my favorite quotes was from David Graham when he won the U.S. Open. And some reporter said, you look a little nervous. Am I seeing that wrong? Were you nervous out there? And Graham said, heck yeah, I was nervous. I'm standing on the 16th tee, and I'm looking down at my hands, counting my knuckles to make sure I've got my hands on the club right.
And you start to think, and you forget watching other sports, like, oh, was Michael Jordan nervous at the free throw line? And absolutely. I think every one of those people are human. And the nerves honestly never go away. You handle them differently. You might get a heightened sense and you focus better, but they never go away. And one of the really interesting things also about being inside the ropes, and I'm sure you get better at it as you do it more, I hear everything. I heard every voice. I knew who every voice was. I knew it was my buddy yelling on 16. I didn't have to look up. I could hear the voices, see them. They don't bother you, but maybe they do because you actually still hear them. But, I heard my kids every single time, especially Alex, every time I made a putt or a good shot.
One of my favorite things I heard that you had said is that one of the greatest moments for you in that tournament is hearing your son say, hey, nice birdie, Dad.
Yeah, he was pumped up, and it was so fun. Even the players, Taylor turned to me one time. None of the players I played with had children yet, and he turns to me, he's like, how many times a day do you hear the word dad? I was like, buddy, wait till you have a kid. Like, we're in the thousands a day, man. It's dad. And I said, and honestly, you might think it's annoying. It's like the best part. So.
It is the best part. And I'm so glad you brought that up, you guys, because I want to hear it from Alex. Mm-hmm. Alex,
yeah, what
you
was
were
that
there.
Like to see your dad in on such a big stage?
Wow, what was that like?
Yeah, I was super duper excited to watch him. It was just like, I feel like on hole 15, my favorite part, he had a 6'7" putt. And so I'm just feeling like 6'7".
Okay, I don't know what this is. Someone brought this up to me.
I know. I don't think they even know what it is. It's a big kid thing.
I know what it is.
And I'm like, I don't know what that is. And everyone said, why don't you know what that is? I don't know what that is.
I made a good little parsley putt. He runs up to me in between. He's like, that was 6'7", Dad, 6'7". I'm like, oh my gosh. At least you lighten the mood for me, man. Yeah. I'm not as nervous when you're doing that stuff.
6'7". Yeah. Good job, Alex. Good job.
But no, my kids, they loved it, man. And that tournament, because there's so little of spectators because of the limitations there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My boys sat outside the locker room where the players would come out one day, and they just cleaned up shop. I'm like, if any kids want some merch, go down there. I mean, I think both my kids got hats from Patton Kazire, from Bo Hostler. They got gloves, balls signed. Left and right. I mean, I couldn't believe all the swag. I'm like, man, there's no way at a regular signature event with all those guys they're getting. I mean, there's thousands of kids of those. They were like one of 10, and they were just handing out everything.
Nice.
Alex, you had one of those special family credentials that you wore around your neck. Tell us about places you got to go and things you got to do because of that.
Yeah, I just felt like it was super cool. Like when going into the places, like people like Harry Higgs, he just asked like, "How's your wrist? Like, what happened?" And it's just like,
You were a conversation piece with both those casts. Everyone wanted to know what's up.
yeah, for sure. I was so nervous on that first hole. Like when he hit a
Oh,
horrible
Wait,
shot.
you were nervous?
Yeah,
Tell us
watching
about
my
that.
dad. Watching my dad, I'm like, he needs to make a par. He needs to make a par.
Where was my second shot? Yeah, it wasn't a very good second shot. And
And
then I had a tough chip. I thought, oh man, please, with all these people watching, don't make this come back to my feet, because there was a lot.
oh, there's
Luckily,
a
I chipped it
chance.
up to about 4 or 5 feet, and was like, oh, thank you.
And then on that second day, like on hole 1, I'm just like, it comes back to his feet. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh, when I fatted it, yep.
And then on hole 10, he does it again.
Oh my goodness.
And then I'm just like,
I like this play-by-play
Yeah.
so much better.
Notice how
than,
children
than
focus
hearing
on
your
focus on
play-by-play.
the bad ones. That's
Yeah.
what about all my birdies were in front of the gallery and in front of all the where the stands were.
What was your favorite birdie shot he made? What hole?
probably 18 because I was with my friend Beckham and Costa. It was just super cool. And then I'm just like,
That's my dad.
Oh, my ninth hole the first day, yeah, the
Mhm.
par 5.
Yeah.
Made
That's
it-
Dad, I'm
really
talking
cool.
about 18.
that's,
18.
That's my ninth hole though.
Oh
That-
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is
I
nice.
teed off on the back 9
Yep.
the first round.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I just felt like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like my dad's just ripping birdies. And then he just made a triple on hole 4. He could not hit that tee shot.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Oh, that's a tough shot. Listen,
There's-
that is a tough hole,
You
man.
know, people talk about like, oh, Black Desert's wide open. It's a resort course. Honestly, when people say, I don't even know what they mean when they say that. Like a resort course. Let's see you go.
It's supposed to be easy.
Yeah, go play it yourself. Go
Yeah.
see what it's like teeing it from 530 yards on par 4s.
I feel like if just any of these
But-
players, like, just play that, like, aren't playing on the tour, like, these people are just, like, feeling like my students, like,
They might shoot in the hundreds, but
yeah, they're just like, oh my gosh, you might shoot.
but there's a
like
lot of
40. It's
tough.
hard.
The tee shots are sneaky hard there because there's a lot of like semi-blind shots, so it's really
there
hard
are.
to commit to a line and connect, to your target when you're over the ball. And it's, it definitely puckers you up that, yes, it's lava. It's not marked as OB. It's essentially OB. So
Mhm.
you're essentially playing every hole with double OB down both sides. Yes, it's a generous driving area, but if you make one tentative little kind of wishy-washy swing that you're going to get punished.
The bunkers are also brutal. They're deep.
Yeah, they're deep.
Yep.
Yeah, they are. They are. That's Tom Weiskopf, man. Deep bunkers, these false sides, false fronts on the greens. Those are Weiskopf characteristics. He borrowed a lot of that from Donald Ross, but they're characteristic of Tom Weiskopf courses. And then, of course, one of the
Break
things
coming
that
up.
Weiskopf really emphasized was a gettable par 4. Tommy, did you have any fun at all on number 14?
He couldn't have hit
I
it
didn't. I never went for it just because I can't cover. I was hitting it really low that week, and I couldn't cover that corner comfortably.
Yeah.
And I just figured, hey, why would I not just hit my 3-wood out there, have a 60-yard shot from 60 yards? I'm going to have a, hopefully give myself a good birdie look. And that was actually
Yeah.
my first birdie. The first round was on that hole.
That was my
'Kay.
question too. How often did you put driver away?
I mean, with my length, I have to hit driver almost everywhere. But like number 5, honestly, some of the guys hit at it. That hole is so narrow. I don't know why you would hit it that hole. And then I watched David Ford, who actually sat next to in the airplane flying down, and I don't know that he can even get there. And he just hits it right in front, has a little easy chip from, 10 yards short of the green. And I just can't believe how carefree these guys swing. That's honestly the hardest thing. They don't have nerves anymore.
Mhm.
The way the game is now, they have to attack all the time to be able to be up there at the top of the leaderboard. And just watching these guys hit driver on that hole where you've got 15 yards to hit the ball, and it's a lost ball. It's not like, oh, I'll just be in the rough and have to grind out a par from there. It's amazing how aggressive they play. And same thing, like even with Michael Brennan, I watched him and David Ford on the Saturday on number 7, the par 5. and Brennan knocks his drive down past the rock in the fairway. I mean,
Oh my.
that's a decorative rock. That's not supposed to be in play. I mean, I think it said 400. I think it was maybe it's 397 his drive. He left a little in the bag.
Yeah, he crushes the ball.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
wow.
just seeing, and it's narrow where they hit it. And you know, when I played some of my practice rounds with my college teammate Martin Laird, and just seeing how he looked at a course versus those guys, he was hitting some fairway woods and laying it back. And I'm like, I can kind of see how these guys that start to get in their 40s and have played the game growing up, where it's a little more strategic, you know, and these younger kids just, you know, full gas pedal down all the time. It's just a different.
Yeah.
It's a completely different
all
game.
gas all the time.
You know, that's why I said I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing from 9 years ago. It's just a very different thing, and I can kind of see. I was definitely against the ball rollback at first, and I don't know that I'm fully for it now. But I can actually see why they're doing it now, because there's such an emphasis right now on distance. I mean, it's not a it's not a proportional importance. It's so important now.
Yeah. All right. There's so much more. This is fun, but we got a couple things we need to do. We need to do them kind of swiftly. Jan, let's do a quick UPod update. The UPod update brought to us by our good friends at Scott Golf. Check them out at scottgolf.com. These Utah clubs are sweet. You will love them. Jan, let's just talk about the boys in Bermuda.
Boys in Bermuda. Zach Blair, T7, -7, 135 on rounds of 71 and 64. Patrick Fishburne currently sits at T24, -3, 139 at rounds of 71 and 68.
Penultimate week on the tour calendar, next to last week. That's what that means. And Zach is in the top 10 going into the weekend. He needs a big weekend. Fishburne in the top 25. He needs a big weekend. They both are on the cusp of what they're trying to accomplish in the FedEx points. All right, we need to send some love to Boston Bracken. He is the Zions Bank Player of the Week, presented by Fairways Magazine. Boston was spectacular, almost unbelievable in the Southern Utah Open. He shot remarkable 22 under par for a total of 122. 22 under par in a 36-hole event to win by 15 strokes on rounds of 62 and 60. It is the lowest 36-hole score I have ever seen in my life. We did a podcast about it, a podcast talking to Boston Bracken. I highly recommend you listen to that podcast wherever you get your podcasts. 22 under par for 36 holes. Remarkable. He is the Zions Bank Player of the Week. All right. We've got to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to talk with John Coolbaugh, the tournament director of the Bank of Utah Championship. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network.
Hey, Paul, if you can hear me, we got John online. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Utah Golf Radio coming back at you from the beautiful downtown studios of ESPN 700, getting you inside the ropes on all things golf in Utah in partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, the Utah Section PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Golf Course Superintendents Association, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Tee Utah. Paul and Jan with you today. We are joined in studio by Tommy Sharp and his really cool son, Alex. Tommy, afraid you're number 2 in the fam now, dude.
That's always been my goal.
Okay, well, you're living large. This first hour of the show is presented by Salt Lake City Golf at slcgolf.com and the Salt Lake City Golf app. And we are powered, as always, by our good friends at T-Box. Check them out, tbx.golf, for club coaching and community. Guys, we are joined now by John Coolbaugh, the tournament director of the Bank of Utah Championship at Black Desert. It's an honor to have you with us, John. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. It's an honor to be here. How are the 4 of you doing?
We're doing all right. We're starting to get a little bit grumpy because I'm afraid that December is almost upon us and we're going to have some winter again this year. But you guys are doing great down there in St. George. And speaking of doing great, John, you guys did a spectacular job again with the Bank of Utah Championship, year 2. I know this isn't new to you. You're used to putting on these high-level events. You've done it for years. But I wanted to take a chance to talk with you about your thoughts on year 2, how it was the same, how it was different, what you learned. What was it like this year running the Bank of Utah Championship?
I appreciate you saying that. Yes, it was an excellent second year. We ticked off several of the goals. After the first year, which was an excellent first year, we still made a point to improve upon it, as we always will. One of the things that we got a lot of feedback on last year was, what can we do to improve the field? What can we do to attract more named players, and we certainly did that. The fields, inclusive of Homa and Snedeker and Day and Horschel, McCarty here again, McGreevy. These are a lot of players that don't normally play in the fall. So very happy very happy that they were here. I think it was a product of good timing. There are not as many events now in the fall, so maybe this is going to be our norm going forward, where we see a much stronger field. it's also a product of, the guys have been talking amongst themselves on tour and talking about what amazing destination this is and here in southern Utah, and also what an amazing golf course. The other thing that we heard a lot from last year was, can you dial down the temperature? Because it was extremely hot last year. We were able to do that as well. So, it's just the way that my brain works. We'll always be looking for more and more ways to improve. But it was a very well received event this year, and I'm glad that you had a good experience, and the first tee had a good experience out of the event. We had a lot of good feedback all around.
Oh, we had a great time. We had a whole bunch of first tee kids there, as you know, and your daughter Alice was able to join us. She's one of the first tee kids in St. George there at our program at Southgate, and she's doing so well there. But the first tee kids had a great time, and there were so many things about it that were just so good. And I've got to say, for me personally, it was such a treat to see Jason Day. And I didn't realize it till I went and followed him, but I've been to a lot of these PGA Tour events. I'm grateful and lucky for that. But I've never seen Jason Day. And I got to see him at Black Desert, playing holes I know. It was such a treat. It was so cool. Thanks for bringing him in, John.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. I guess I can take credit, just like I'll take credit for Michael Brennan coming in as an exemption and winning. I guess we have an entire committee that goes through the process of picking exemptions, and we really wanted to award most of them to Utah players or players with Utah ties, which is what we did. But Michael Brennan was the one outlier, and the committee, who know much more about golf than I do, really, saw him as up and coming. And how about that? I mean, it doesn't happen very often. One of the very last players really to get in the field of 132, went, just played amazing all 4 days. Very composed, young, another young man, just like McCarty, just another machine, and I hope this is a chance to, launch a long career for him. Glad to be a part of it, because he seems like a really good person and is coming from a good family. I do think that he is the real thing. And one of the reasons I say that, there are several. Of course, you mentioned his composure, but you look at him mechanically, and Tommy, I'd be interested in your thoughts on this. His swing is simple, solid, repeatable, and I think it's a swing that will last. But what do you see?
He was the group. Him, Luke Clanton, and Pearson Cootie were the group behind me the first two rounds. So I got to watch him a lot and see where their drives were going, and they were going into some spots that my group was not hitting them in. And and just like throughout the week, I saw him a bunch in the dining and around the range, because I think we were kind of always at the same schedule. And I didn't even know who he was. I had to research. I'm looking at his face because he looks a lot like Frankie Kappen, and I was like trying to figure out, is that Frankie Kappen? And because I have a student that sponsors him, and I was going to go talk to him, and so I started looking into this Michael Brennan guy, and I'm like, okay, this guy's had a phenomenal year. How do you get that high of a world ranking at America's tour events?
You win them all.
You dominate. And and honestly, I got a little obsessed about him after I listened to him on Michael Breed on the PGA Tour XM radio, and Breed's talking about how he's his new favorite swing on tour, and he's going to be a Ryder Cupper, and he's going to be here and there for years. And I absolutely believe that golf swing is so pure. His dad, I talked with his dad and his mom. They were right behind us. My parents were talking with them, and like, that's just a good family. That golf swing is, obviously there's more than just a swing. All those guys have good swings, but like, technically there is no excess timing, any luck in that golf swing for sure.
No, there's no wasted motion.
And I was even talking with my students after that. I'm like, he has similar Bryson power without, the exerting effort. Like he doesn't look. I mean, Bryson looks like he's taking a rip at it, which is fun. I love watching
Yeah,
Bryson.
and the thing with Mike,
Yeah.
but
But Brennan
looks
just
so effortless.
Yeah, it looks just like he's just taking an
Yeah.
aggressive swing, and
But his
And
ball
then he
speed
hits it
numbers are the same.
350.
and the shot that people probably don't even think is so cool or is amazing is his drives every day on 16 that were going
Mhm.
like 40 feet high, and he was lacing them down there, these little bullet balls down there 375 yards to keep it in between the lava. I mean, the kid can play some golf, I'll tell you that.
So, John, of course, Brennan won 3 of the last 4 tournaments on the Americas Tour. That it looked like that's what got the committee's attention, and that it came in kind of late, last minute. Am I reading that correctly? How did that all come down?
Yes, you're reading that correctly. And so we received more than 30 formal requests for exemptions, with him being one. He actually last year he actually submitted a request as well, and we just weren't ready to award it at that time. So we're obviously very glad that we did it this time. It came from that, and it came from we were able to, in his request, we were able to get a good picture of what a good person he is. It showed in his request. So it was, I have to say that when these requests come in, it's the choice is made, on a number of different fronts. Like I said, we wanted to award Utah, players with Utah ties, but also, we look at how hot the player is, and just like we talked about, he's definitely been on fire lately, and it's interesting what you said about talking about the length of his tee shots, particularly in his game. I stood next to him there on Sunday, and I mean, I'm not a big guy. Like he is not a huge human being. I mean, he's obviously way more strong than I am. But it was pretty wild. Like standing next to him, he could just be somebody else shopping in the supermarket by you. You wouldn't necessarily be able to tell. But man, underneath that golf gear, he's hidden a bunch of strength. Yeah.
So if you see him down at the Piggly Wiggly, you're not thinking that guy moves at 350?
Right.
See, I thought he was super fit. I mean, he's about my size, but a lot more muscle. And I was actually taken back by how fit he looked to me, and all those guys really.
Wow.
Yeah, aren't they all machines, right? It's a really different game. I guess thinking back to like Arnold Palmer and Gary Player, who were ahead of their time on that front, but it's a whole different game now with the physical and the mental strength.
Absolutely. Well, John, I really appreciate you joining us. Before I let you go, let me just ask you this question. What one thing that you changed for this year over year one really worked?
Oh yeah, wow, that's a tough one. We made some changes to the configuration of the golf course, particularly on the first hole and the 10th hole. I mean that made a difference. That made a logistical difference on the ease of moving around the golf course. So having the new tee box on one, having the 10 plate on the correct side of the road, and then we had a new tee box on 18 as well. Like all of those course improvements. Made this resort golf course, it's turning it more and more into a golf course that can hold tournaments on a regular basis, which is good. So that's a tough thing to combine. You want a resort course that's great for daily play, and it takes some modification obviously to make it ready for these guys during tournament time. So I would say that's the biggest change. And just the whole entire property, having 1 year more to mature on the hotel and everything else definitely has made a difference.
I agree with your take there. I was through there a dozen or more times that week, and moving around was absolutely fundamentally easier, better. It was, you got it right.
Yeah, we're happy. We're grateful to Bank of Utah for coming aboard with us. They're a terrific partner. We're grateful for all the almost 850 volunteers that supported the event. And now I'm going to take a little time. Maybe I'll visit Revive Men's Health, one of your sponsors. I was listening to their commercial, so see if they
Nice.
can revive me, and then we're right on to 26, preparing for sponsorships and volunteer recruitment
coming up.
and all the rest.
And we're going to be back on your doorstep talking to you again. I'm already looking forward to it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it, John. That is John Coolbaugh, tournament director. Tommy, these guys work so stupid hard, and they have so many things. I will always remember being down there and seeing John Coolbaugh. It was dark. I can't remember if it was early dark or late dark, but he was out changing garbage can liners because it's what needed done. He's the tournament director, and he was doing what needed done. He's an impressive guy, and it's no accident that the events he puts on are top notch because he looks after every detail. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I saw him racing around there too. They did a great job. I mean, absolute great job. That's a tough logistics there. That's a big property to get people
It
around
is so
and move
big.
around. And when I got there, I'm like, where is even the golf? Where am I? Like, you had to get shuttles, and then you get your bearings. But I was like, okay, this isn't something you can just show up 40 minutes before your tee time, throw your shoes on in the back of your car, and hop out to the first tee. It's a process, and it's awesome.
No.
They did an absolute phenomenal job.
Absolutely. They did. All right. We got to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to talk a little things and stuff. The Uinta Holiday Shopping Guide is out. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. things and stuff. Here on Utah Golf Radio, brought to us by Uinta Golf. Jan, this week we all got an email from the Utah Golf Association with the Uinta Golf Holiday Gift Guide, the catalog for shopping for the holidays. First of all, let me just pause for a minute. You got yours, Jan, right?
Of course.
Of course. And you got it because why?
Because I am a member of the Utah Golf Association.
Exactly.
You
And
too
I have-
can be a member of the Utah Golf Association.
You can, and you should. Go to uga.org, follow the very simple, straightforward buttons that say join or renew, and make sure that your membership is active in the Utah Golf Association. And actually, Jan and I have something to say. If you are listening to this show, first of all, thank you. But if you're listening to this show and you are not a member of the Utah Golf Association,
What's
wrong with you? Join the
terrible.
UGA, for heaven's sakes.
Yes, please.
Okay, now
Let's get to the business.
we get to the business. So we got the shopping guide, and at first blush, I'm thinking, why do I need this? I have everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they thought of things I didn't.
Well, not only that, they thought of things you didn't, and then they put them on sale.
Then they put them on sale. Jan, what got your attention? What do you want from the Uinta Golf Holiday Shopping Guide?
I'm just going to go ahead and say what got me was 60% off sale.
Okay.
They have a 60% off sale, so that's what got me. And then the holiday gift guide, of course.
So tell
But
us about the 60% off sale.
It's 60% off shoes, clothing, and some hard goods as well. But man, I get some of the best stuff off their sale, their clearance sale.
Did they have any 60% off putters for Paul?
Probably, I bet they do.
You can carry. You
Okay.
had 4 putters in your bag last time I played with you, Paul. Now maybe we can get to number 5.
I know,
huh?
Some
I
butters in his bag.
know. It's a problem. It's a problem. I know. And I'm thinking I just need to go back to what I putted with in college. I was a good putter in college. I don't know what the world's happened. I
called
think
scar
about
tissue,
it too
Paul.
much, Tommy. Huh?
It's called scar tissue. As you get older,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
let's cue up the boy here. Hey, so if
Okay.
things and stuff for Christmas, is there any golf stuff that's on your list?
I really want a vessel bag, but probably not getting that.
Oh,
Okay.
come on. Hey, listen, now is the time. Let's get this kid a vessel
Okay,
bag.
vessel
Tommy.
bag. Those are nice. I don't disagree.
Okay.
Anything else?
Should I see if they're on sale?
Do you like any special bags of teas or anything like that? Maybe like some ball markers? Why would you pick the most expensive thing that you can find?
Can I really want like the new TaylorMade driver that'll come out when it comes out.
Okay, the QI4D coming out.
Uh-huh.
And then
uh-huh.
I know a guy that knows TaylorMade stuff.
I was gonna say you're a Taylor dude. Uh-huh. All right.
You're expensive.
Keep going, Alex. I'm
Alex
cheering
is
for you, dude.
expensive. These bags are expensive.
Get me a golf cart, Dad.
Golf cart, well, that's way above you.
You want to golf, Alex? Golf's
Alex.
a walking game.
Your 8-year-old brother's a better driver than you are, pal.
I'm not that bad, Dad.
Okay,
That's
so we got a
Alex.
vessel
No one will
bag, we
ride
got a
with me
driver.
either. They think I'm a terrible driver, so no one will ride with me.
I
You-
want some new TaylorMade TP5s and Pro Vs.
The golf balls, okay.
What do you like about the Pro Vs versus the TaylorMade TP5s? Because I switch between the two too.
I don't really know. Like, I like how I feel like I putt better with the TP5s. And I like
Is it because of the stripe? You like the line on them?
Oh, are you playing with tour response?
No, he plays the stripes, which is
Yeah,
like
the
the tour
tour
response. The
sp-
tour
oh, it's-
response is a type of ball. The
Yeah.
stripe is just the marking
Oh, the
on
marking,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
and then I also I feel like the Titleist definitely goes farther. And then the TaylorMade ball, like some people might disagree, but I just think that it spins more. Like I feel like my wedge shots have more spin with the TaylorMade.
And the new TaylorMade ball that's coming out, they've addressed the distance. It is going to go farther.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a new TaylorMade ball coming out.
You're gaming a TP5, aren't you?
I
Tommy?
play a TP5X. I've been an
X,
X guy
okay.
this iteration. I've been through both of them. Honestly, I've played all of them. The TP5, the current one that's almost extinct, definitely did not go as far, and
Right.
especially at our altitude, it didn't fly quite as good. I felt like the TP5X was better here, but there's a new prototype ball out, and the real one will come out. I'm guessing January-ish, but I've heard it's very, very good.
Why did you go to the X?
Honestly, because it went farther. Old man needs
Okay.
to hit the ball farther.
Yeah. Okay, very good,
I'm
very
a
good.
big fan of the TaylorMade TP5 because I like the sound that
Mhm.
it makes. I
Yeah.
know that sounds weird, but
That's no, that's
the
legit.
sound,
That
the
is
sound
totally
tells
legit.
me I hit it square. It tells me
Yeah.
I hit it right.
You're
I-
turning into a real golfer now, Jen. We're
I
starting to
know.
pick up on all these little
know,
nuances
I know.
that,
Then
that all the
also-
psychos care about.
Yes, I know. I'm turning to the dark side.
The old TP5s, they definitely I used to play the picks. I
Uh-huh.
just loved that ball, but then when I got stronger and I hit it farther and higher, it just drops out of the air. It just fluttered so hard. I'm like, I hate this ball now. I just need
That was
ball
the
to go.
old model. Now they're better. Come on,
They're
man.
better now. Okay. That's good.
Yep, the new models are very good. Anything else on your list?
Uh
Come on,
What about-
the door's
I thought
open.
I thought you liked
Ask for
spider
anything.
putters.
oh yeah, I want the spider I don't know what it's called, but it's the one that doesn't have the ball thingies.
The fangs out on the edge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't have those. It's
I
just
call them wings. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the Batman putter. I call it a Batmobile. It looks like the Batmobile.
it's like Emery's putter.
I
like that one.
I did just see that Scotty Cameron has a new putter.
Yeah,
He does,
I
yeah.
it was cool at Black Desert looking at all they had all the
Gotta get
tour
your break.
prototypes and the
Yeah, that's good. That's
I
good
saw all
living,
the
isn't it?
Benardi ones that are, they had all the
Mhm.
tour stamps. I really wanted to snake one, but I never did. You don't
That
know.
was
It's
your
like, is
chance.
somebody watching me? Am I supposed to take? What can I?
Yes, they want you to take that.
I don't
stuff.
know. And then the lab guys were out, and that was cool hearing they've got some new things coming. They're putting that insert that's in the
Mhm.
Oz, the faster inserts going in all their putters come January. He said.
Okay.
And then
Interesting.
I did see all the Titleist ones that were the cool tour stamps.
Couldn't really
Cool.
get those ones though. Taylor.
Oh, they watch those ones. The tour, the Titleist guys are there watching those because I think there's been some problems in the past.
TaylorMade and Titleist got some big rivalries.
Yep, they sure do. A lot of guys putt with that spider.
All right. The Uinta Holiday Guide, it's in your inbox, all you UGA members out there. And otherwise, you can go pick one up in any of the TaylorMade stores. They've got printed hard paper versions of it as well. So go check them out. And Alex, are you writing this down, Tommy? A vessel bag, a new TaylorMade putter or TaylorMade driver, and a spider putter. Sounds like a good Christmas for
They're getting
Alex.
expensive.
Can I be
These
your
kids are
son?
getting expensive.
That's what I just
Come on,
said.
Dad, get
He's
your notes out.
expensive.
I have a good memory,
he's
pal.
expensive.
Okay. All right. We got to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to talk with Alex and Lacey. Alex, for heaven's sakes. We're going to talk with Ashley and Lacey, a couple of sisters who made the title sponsorship happen at the Bank of Utah Championship. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. That means Utah Golf Radio coming to you live today from the beautiful downtown studios of ESPN 700 in Salt Lake City, getting you inside the ropes on all things golf in Utah in partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, Utah Section, PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Golf Course Superintendents Association, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Tee Utah. Paul and Jan in studio with you today, and we are joined by our good friends Tommy Sharp and his son Alex. Tommy, Alex, we're so glad to have you with us today.
It's been a fun first hour.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing great. Alex, you are killing it, man. I am so glad to be here with you. So glad to have you on the show.
He likes his room. He wants to turn his room at home now into a soundproof,
Into
dark
soundproof.
room.
Oh, we can
He
do
loves
that.
it.
Alex, I got you covered, dude. We'll talk later, okay? We can do that.
I also like all the stuff in here.
You like all this stuff in here?
I agree with you,
We
dude.
can make you a sports cave, a boy cave, a man cave, adolescent
boy
cave.
That's a good one.
Boy
A boy cave.
Adolescent cave. Tweener,
That is great
tweener,
stuff.
Yeah, tweener cave.
tweener cave.
Tweener cave. We are teed up as always, powered as always by our good friends at T-Box. Check them out at tbx.golf, where they have cracked the code on the whole golfer experience with clubs, coaching, and community. And we are continuing our rehash, continuing our bow that we are putting on the Bank of Utah Championship, this impressive and significant event that is such a bright spot on the Utah golf calendar, such a luminary on the Utah calendar every year. And we are joined now by two women who played a key role in making this thing happen. I'm talking about Ashley Dove and Lacey Sansevera. Ashley, Lacey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, friend. How are you?
So good, Ashley. Lacey, thanks for being with
Good
us.
morning, Paul. Thank you so much. It sounds like we're missing out on all the fun, though, there in studio.
Come on down. Hey, listen, hanging in the studio is a good time. We have fun here. It's a gas. But let's first start with some context of who you are and why you're in a position to make such a difference. Ashley, we'll start with you. You've got yourself a big highfalutin title, Director of Business Relationships, I believe, or something like that. You're the sheriff of all the connections. But tell us about what you do as the connections sheriff for the Bank of Utah Championship.
Yeah, so I think, I've had a lot of luck and the right timing in my life to kind of make things all fall together. And part of my role is to oversee all aspects of the tournament that my friend John Coolbaugh doesn't handle. So anything off the course, that is within my purview. And so I was new to the Black Desert team. I started last fall, and we had begun the conversation of looking for a title sponsor potentially. You know, that first year, Black Desert really wanted to maintain that name and that title sponsorship. That was important to them. And it was important to them to take some time to really look for the right partner, because the title is just, so critical and a highly engaged title that's a good partner and really invested in the long-term success of the event, is key. And so we kind of began that process, and I was lucky enough to just join at the right time, and things fell together like magic. Lacey and Lacey's my sister, and she was kind of going through a similar transition within her career. And we would call and check in on each other and do that sister phone call of, how was your day today? And are you learning all the systems? And we started kind of touching base on all of these shared experiences that we were having and the similarities between our two companies and some of the shared values and how our goals kind of would overlap in some areas. And I know that I was taking note internally of, maybe this could be a potential business relationship or, a sponsorship in some kind. And so that just kind of got the conversations going.
That's so cool. So, okay, Lacey, tell us a little more about you. You are the governor of cool stuff at Bank of Utah. I think that's what it says on your business card, right?
She
Right.
always has a cooler
Yeah,
job title than me. I'm going to take that back. I'm definitely going to change my email signature for that title. I like it. I like it. I am the chief banking officer at Bank of Utah.
Oh, that's boring.
And
Yeah,
I
change
know it's not as cool as what you just anointed me. So,
Yeah,
like I said,
you're the
I think it
governor
changes
of
in order.
cool stuff.
Governor of cool stuff. Yeah, that's a lot to live up to. So, but yeah, like a little bit about myself and what that entails is, really overseeing the deposit and payment and operations part of the bank. So maybe again, like I got a lot to live up to of governor of cool stuff. But a lot in how we really connect into our communities, how we grow, how we show up, really expanding the brand and the market share. So that's a lot of my focus, which again plays very nicely into the magic that kind of brought this together. I have been with Bank of Utah really coming up on my second year. So again, Ashley and I both jumped to, kind of made a leap and stretched ourselves and jumped to different organizations. I think we were both kind of looking for something that could position us to be able to work in the things that we're extremely passionate in. And so, again, just going back to what Ashley said, we would, get on the phone and it's new and you're the new kid on the block. And so it was really good to be able to talk to somebody that was going through a similar situation on the other end. Of course, those are completely different industries, but the similarities, again, kind of, you could start to see that thread flow through both sides and in what we were seeing and the values within our organization.
Let's talk about the relationship there and put it in some context. You guys are daughters of Kanab. Now, I love
Correct.
Kanab.
We are.
Not for a moment am I suggesting that Kanab is anything but a wonderful town, but it remains a little unlikely that you would come out of Kanab and end up in these two positions, and that they would overlap in such a way that you would be able to broker and arrange a title sponsorship to a PGA Tour event. This is all remarkable. It's just kind of like scratch your head wow territory. How did this come about? Tell us about the phone call.
I mean, Paul, you're so right. Coming from this tiny town, the one single traffic light town in southern Utah.
Right. Right.
Neither Lacey or myself had any experience in golf, a background in golf. That just wasn't something that was really accessible to us growing up. I, previous to this role, spent most of my professional career in hospitality, and Lacey's always been very focused and dedicated in finance and banking, and so our worlds never crossed professionally. And so, this again, I just keep saying the stars really aligned. We'd had these calls, and they'd been going on since I would say maybe 4 months, 6 months, maybe. Kind of back and forth, and we'd had some meetings with some other potential title candidates, and we'd turned some down. They just weren't a right fit, right? And we were really looking for someone with that was based in Utah that could really join forces with us and help elevate the state, and really was passionate about the state of Utah. And I'd had a meeting in our corporate office in Lehi with the Reef team, and I came back and I was laying in bed one night and I just thought, wait a minute. Like I kind of really started to piece things together in my head and thinking about how, the business relationship and this title sponsorship really just would fit so nicely and how we could make this work. And I remember I was so excited about it. I didn't get much sleep that night, and I called Lacey in the morning, and of course she's at home, and she's got 4 kiddos, and she's running around doing the get ready for school chaos. And I was like, I have an idea. I think I have an idea.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Lacey, Lacey, I want to
I'm
know.
crazy, but I have an idea.
I want to know when your caller ID lights up on your phone and it says my sister Ashley, did you think, well, this is going to cost me several $1 million?
That was definitely not the thing
the
that
case.
I thought. And she did, it was like, hey, I have an idea. Like, what if Bank of Utah was a title sponsor? I'm like, okay, well, that's really big to drop. I've got to get the chaos out of my house first, and like, I will call you later. And I kind of laughed at her. I was like, yeah, that would be great. And it did then kick off kind of a series of phone calls throughout the day, and that I think is where we actually started to explore a little bit too of just saying, like, this is really big, and because it's so big, it would stretch Bank of Utah. This is the first time really that we've stepped onto a stage this large. And I'm kind of a little bit of a geek. Like, I'm a very passionate community banker. I love community banking, what it does, how you can give back. And this energy, again, being fairly new at Bank of Utah, like, I know the magic that Bank of Utah has, and you can kind of feel the difference. And so it has been one where I have felt like I'd love to find that opportunity to say to the bank, like, hey, I think this is our moment. But this felt really, really big, and it would be a very large investment for the bank, given our size. We're just kind of right there on the edge. And so it was when I think, too, that a big piece of this and why this could come together so quickly is just due to the trust already, obviously, that's between Ashley and I, that I could just be extremely vulnerable and saying, like, hey, like, these are the things that could make it beneficial for the bank. And, like, this is where, like, obviously, like, these are our priorities. These are where it would make it mutually beneficial. And that's really where we kind of started talking about how could you piece this together to get to a point where it made sense for the bank on an investment scale. And I would say the same for Reef and Black Desert on their side.
Interesting. We are talking with Lacey Sansevera, the governor of cool stuff at Bank of Utah, and with Ashley Dove, the sheriff of Friends and Neighbors at Black Desert.
Ashley.
And
Ashley, this is Jan Brownstein. I have a question. This is a multi-year sponsorship, correct?
Correct. Yes.
How many
This
years?
is a multi-year. It was a 3-year sponsorship deal.
Okay. Great.
Lacey, let me chime in. My name's Tommy. I actually played in the event and helping out with the show today. But just a proof that marketing does actually work. My 8-year-old kid never one time called it the Black Desert. He always calls it the Bank of Utah. He goes, are we going to the Bank of Utah? He always calls it that. And it stands out to me because I'm always like, wow, that's quite fascinating how quick that works.
How that marketing got in his brain. He's 8.
Yep.
It's working.
That's the
It's
only
working.
metric we need, like, right there.
Yep.
Exactly.
So Ashley, this is so fascinating to me. A couple of sisters, reasonably new to the positions and yet perfectly placed for this whole thing to happen and to come together. But were you put off? Was it bothersome to you at all that when you called her, she had to say, this is going to take longer than one call before I get the kids to school? I mean, this is a pretty big ask.
It's just a kind of somewhat of a large ask, Paul. Now, I knew that I would have to deliver the news, let the shock kind of pass, let her marinate on it a minute, and then I would get a follow-up. So I wasn't surprised that she was like, I think I'm going to have to call you back in a little while. But, back to just everything that Lacey said, this is, everything in golf and these tournaments is so driven by relationships. And that's where this partnership is so special. And it was so truly unique because, like she said, that trust was there. And, a lot of credit goes to Bank of Utah President Brandon Hansen and also Jared Lucero, CEO of Reef, that they really did put their trust in Lacey and I, and
Absolutely.
they were they were so open-minded, and they came to the table both just very open and listened to both sides of it and looked for that balance and that that true partnership. And so I hats off to especially Brandon. This was leaning into, this is a huge play for the Bank of Utah. It was very new, and he did trust the process. He did trust Lacey and I, and Danette Pulley's been critical in all of this, but without their visionary leadership and forward thinking, this wouldn't have happened. So
I think that
I'm truly appreciative that Bank of Utah, they were incredible.
that is a very good point. We will be speaking with Brandon Hansen in the next segment. Lacey, what was it like taking it to Brandon? Was it, my sister has an idea? Was it Reef? I'm here with a proposal from Reef Capital. Even though the substance of those is exactly the same, the presentation is different.
Yes, and as much as that, I think was an initial shock to me when Ashley was like, "Hey, I think we could do this." I think that was a little bit of the same conversation, taking that to Brandon, and again. So Brandon is also really, he's been in that leadership position with Bank of Utah. He's in his third year with that, and he has really taken the bank in a growth direction. And so
coming up.
The fact that I think it also is timing that it happened to be that Brandon Hansen is that person that is open-minded and looking for those opportunities. I think that was also a little bit of the magic that plays. Like, it had to be all the right people in the right places. And I said, hey, my sister works at Reef with Black Desert, and they are looking for a title sponsor. And we have been talking, and we think that there's a lot of things that we could do that could make it mutually beneficial. And would you be open to a conversation? And he paused and just stared at me for a minute, and he said, that feels like a lot, but I'm open to the conversation. And again, to his credit, to even being open to talking about this, really got us to that first table meeting in the boardroom with Jared Lucero and Brandon and Ashley and I, in being able to really spell out, hey, this is kind of what we're thinking, and let them both marinate on that. But again, both visionary leaders, which is really great to partner with. And so it did. It just kind of came together.
Wow.
Oh my
Incredible.
God, Paul, and
Well,
can you imagine that first table meeting was a little scary,
I'll bet.
I'm just gonna say, like, it was rough for me. I sat there thinking, like, oh my gosh, we bombed this. Like, this is not going well, because they're just getting their first pass of hearing the information, letting it sink in. They've got their poker faces on, where we have never had our poker face on during this conversation. And there was a little bit of where I actually feared that we had swing and a miss on that one.
Wow. Well, very clearly, it was the right people with the right idea at the right time, and it worked. And boy, Tommy summed it up better than I've ever heard. His son refers to this as the Bank of Utah. Everything worked. That is cool.
Everything works.
Love it.
Yeah.
Everything works
It's
great.
truly been so special. It's been incredible working with the Bank of Utah team, and I'm not just saying that because my sister is one of them. They really, truly are just an outstanding organization, and I'm so proud of this partnership and their commitment to, elevating our state and, improving our communities. I mean, they're just great partners, and to go through this process with side by side with my little sister has just been unreal. It's a surreal, thing. And so this is probably one of those, like, the coolest moments of your life things to check the box on. Yeah. Very, very special.
Yes.
Straight up.
And I want to say the same. Reef Capital, the Reef team, Black Desert. Again, like, this only makes sense because of the way that they do business, and that we feel very aligned on the values. And time again, I'm sure that Brandon Hansen's going to bring this up, that actually really made the difference in just how they approach business, and what they do. So it has been a phenomenal partnership. I've loved to be able to see my sister in a different way, really just leading into, like, her strength. She's just in her moment executing. And it's been so fun to see that on a professional level because, again, like, we just don't cross with our industries often. So it's been such a fun, sweet, I think, moment in life of being able to just kind of soak this up, both from a professional and a personal relationship.
Well, it's a remarkable story, and job well done to you both and to your entire teams. Ashley Dove of Black Desert and Reef, Lacey Sansevera of Bank of Utah. Thank you both for joining us, and congratulations on a really significant accomplishment. Well done.
Thank you so
Paul.
much. Thank you,
All
Paul,
right.
for your.
That is so cool. Holy cow. These guys really have a great story, and I appreciate them sharing it with us. Jan, we need to talk about somebody who needs some relief. I Need Relief, brought to us by our good friends at Duro Health. Swing faster, hit farther, play better, and feel better with this unique, innovative back therapy and training system at Duro Health. Check them out at durohealth.com. And I'll tell you who needs some relief, Jan and Tommy. That's Lynn Grant and Grace Kim. They are leading the Annika after 36 holes, and all the talk is about the number 461st player in the AJGA who missed the cut and was DFL. I get it. It makes sense that Kai Trump was given the sponsors exemption because people are talking about this LPGA tournament that wouldn't be talking about it otherwise. But let us not forget, Lynn Grant and Grace Kim are leading the tournament after 36 holes. So props to them. Let's talk about somebody on a SIZ. On a SIZ, brought to us by Next Level Golf at nextlevelgolf.com. Tommy, have you ever seen numbers better than 122 for 36 holes and a 15-shot margin of victory in 36 holes?
It was pretty amazing. I played. He beat me by 17. But
Unreal.
What a good player. And honestly, like, I've had 2 interactions with the kid, and, like, I've never officially met him. And he, like, came up and started talking to me at a tournament this summer. And I was like, man, this kid is mature. He is such a nice kid. And, like, I mean, just couldn't be happier for him. Like, great golfer, great swing, just super impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything about him. He's good-hearted. He is polite. He is cheerful. And boy, howdy, he can golf the ball. 122 and a margin of 15. That's on a SIZ. All right, we got to take a break. And we come back, as threatened, we're going to talk to Brandon Hansen, the president of Bank of Utah, and continue this conversation with him. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. Radio. Coming back at you from the beautiful downtown studios of ESPN 700, getting you inside the ropes on all things golf in Utah in partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, the Utah Section PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Golf Course Superintendents Association, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Tee Utah. Paul and Jan in studio with you today, and we are joined by Tommy Sharp and Alex Sharp. Doing a debrief on the Bank of Utah. So glad to have you guys with us, Tommy and Alex.
They stepped away from the mic for just a moment.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
I'm just sitting here rattling along, looking down. Okay.
You're good. Alex is right. Alex is right here.
We are talking about the Bank of Utah Championship and getting behind the curtain to how it came to be. And we just talked with Ashley Dove and Lacey Sansevera, a couple of sisters who are properly placed in the organizations of Black Desert and Bank of Utah to bring this title sponsorship to bear. We are joined now by Brandon Hanson, the president of Bank of Utah, the man with his hand on the levers who ultimately made the decision to do this title sponsorship and brought all the magic about. Brandon Hanson, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Paul. Thank you for having me, and thank you for all that you do for the Utah golf community. It's just a pleasure to be on your show today.
Well, thank you. We are so honored to have you with us. Brandon, I've got to tell you this, in the previous segment when we were talking with Ashley and Lacey, and there are several things that came out of that I want to get your take on, but Tommy Sharp, who participated, he played in the Bank of Utah Championship. His son refers to this event as the Bank of Utah. Bang. Looks like you crossed a lot of T's with that one right there. Well done.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, and we better be sure to get the Sharp family some Bank of Utah swag, so appreciate that call out.
Oh, you just got Alex just lit up.
Alex, we're scoring you some swag, baby. This is great. So, Brandon, one of the points that Lacey made, and she, of course, is on your staff, one of the key players at the Bank of Utah, and she brought this to you, and she describes a moment where you stared at her somewhat non-responsive, and yet I know you were processing a very unusual out-of-the-box idea at that moment. What were you thinking as you stared at her silent before responding back that you would be open to a conversation?
Yeah, well, first, I have such a tremendous amount of respect and admiration for both Lacey and Ashley. They're just both tremendous individuals that are really inspiring. And, of course, had the opportunity to work with Lacey for about a couple of years now. Again, a lot of respect for her. I think my first reaction when the idea was presented to me was, you know, that's not really for us. We're really focused on Utah. That's more of a national event. Would that really make sense from a business perspective to be involved? And so, yeah, initial reaction was like, that seems like a bit of a stretch. But I tend to like to be open-minded and think about different opportunities and ideas. And so we started marinating on it. And the cool thing is that Lacey and Ashley had done a lot of legwork ahead of time to figure out how a partnership could work. Obviously, with Reef Capital, they have a lot of banking needs, and we were able to come together quickly as leadership and figure out a way to make the sponsorship make sense for Bank of Utah.
You know, you make a really good point, because actually that was my first thought when I saw this, when the announcement about the sponsorship was made. I thought Bank of Utah, very focused on Utah. It's in their name. It's not Wells Fargo or RCB that you know, other banks that sponsor PGA Tour events. Yet there you were. I'm curious how that connection was made, how that leap was made to say, no, even though this will be on TV around the world, this is right for Bank of Utah.
Yeah, so one of the things that we discovered in the due diligence process was how much support Utahns gave to this event. Of course, it was the first time back in the state for several decades last
Yeah.
year. A lot of buzz, a lot of excitement. Bank of Utah's been around since 1952. We've had tremendous success over the years. And to give back to Utah, to support Utah, and have Utah in the title sponsorship name of the Utah's PGA Tour event seemed really meaningful to me. And I realized this really is more about Utah than what maybe I initially thought.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. So you go to the event and you're walking around there. You're like nobody else because your name is everywhere. What was that like for you being at the event? I saw you there a couple of times. We were able to chat once or twice, which was cool. But I just, as I would watch you, I would think, what's it got to be like? Every time you turn around, you see your logo. Every time you turn around, you see your name. It's the nature of the event, but got to be a surreal experience sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to give a lot of credit to PGA Tour. They really understand how to make sure the title sponsor gets its recognition. You know, if you think about if you were a major sponsor of Utah Jazz, right? Well, every 3 seconds, another sponsor's logos being flashed around the stadium or the arena.
Right.
And so I really love that the PGA Tour puts a lot of focus on that. And that was one of the things that we discovered in the due diligence process. We spent a lot of time with Marty Gorsuch, and he was really helpful in helping us understand how the title sponsor name would show up. And, yeah, I was absolutely blown away. It exceeded my expectations in all regards with how the Bank of Utah brand showed up during that week.
Brandon,
Well,
was there a defining thing that happened, or when the light went on that you said, we can do this? I mean, what was the defining moment that you decided that, yes, we're going to do this?
You know, I don't know that there was a defining moment. There was some sleepless nights for sure in trying to make the decision. As mentioned, this was a bit of a stretch for Bank of Utah, but one of the things that motivated me, you know, the bank is growing, the bank is being more successful, we're being more recognized throughout the state. And if you think about the opportunity to do a sponsorship like this, or you think about an opportunity to put your name on a building or do something of that, those opportunities don't come along very often. And I just felt like we needed to stretch. We needed to take this opportunity. Of course, it's a 3-year commitment, and the hope would be that it would go long beyond that. But it just felt like an opportunity that we needed to seize, even though it really stretched us. And, of course, you know, the trust, the shared values that we had with Reef Capital was amazing. You know, Jared Lucero and his team, they're just phenomenal people, and that really helped as you were working with this other group to have that trust and that relationship. And I got to say, in something as big and complex as what this is, and by the way, it blew me away how much work goes on in putting one of these championships on. But all that work that goes into that, I didn't realize what that meant. So that was part of it.
That's really interesting, and you are so right. There is so much that goes on behind the scenes to get one of these tournaments from the first tee to handing out the trophy, and much of it is unseen. And yet it's always there, churning just under the surface. What was your biggest takeaway? What did you learn from this? Maybe about Bank of Utah, certainly some things about golf, but what's your big takeaways from this, Brandon?
I think one of the things that really exceeded my expectations was just the relationship building opportunity. We met so many incredible people through this process, people like you, Paul, people like Marty or Tim Young, others that really have a passion, a high level of professionalism and knowledge, and getting to work with people like that is pretty amazing. In fact, the evening after the Sunday evening after the championship ended, there was a number of congratulatory texts going around the group, and I remember saying, you know, if I could take this group of people that we're working with on this project and this championship and start a company, we could do anything. We'd be unstoppable and incredibly successful. But the quality, the professionalism, the knowledge of the people that are involved in all of this it's really amazing.
Yeah, boy howdy, that sums it up, right? And I agree with you. I know many of these people. I see them work, and you're right. What an amazing team. Brandon, we really appreciate you joining us. One last question before I turn you loose. Have you sat down with Lacey and said, Lacey, you can't go to any more family reunions. We can't afford it.
No, I'm not going to tell Lacey what to do. She's a big girl and handles herself just fine.
Okay, that's a good point.
I think he knows better.
Good point. Well, it's an amazing story, actually. The way it came together, and I love the way
quickly. It feels like it was really fast. All of a sudden,
yeah,
it was Black Desert, and then in a blink of an eye, it was Bank of Utah.
Okay, that Jan makes a good point. How long did this whole thing take, Brandon?
So, if you recall, it was July 1st that we did the announcement that Bank of Utah was the new title sponsor. I believe we were in the thick of negotiating things the first part of May. We hadn't made a decision the first part of May. So, it did come together really quickly. Thankfully, we were able to hire Danette Pulley, who you know, that we could have kind of put in charge of helping us put this whole event together. And again, I knew it would be a lot of work. I didn't realize how much work it was going to be. But between Danette and the shared values and trust that we had with Reef Capital, with Lacey and Ashley, we were able to get to a decision really quickly and start executing. And honestly, I thought we would drop a couple of balls this year and just learn from the first year experience. But looking back on it, it couldn't have gone any better. It was just such an amazing experience.
Yeah, I agree. I've been to a lot of these events, a lot of PGA Tour events, and I just didn't see any ball dropped, to use that phrasing. This thing was executed. Absolutely, it was executed. And I do want you to know something, Brandon. I'm going to appoint myself, Jan, to speak on behalf of the Utah golf community for a quick moment. Having the PGA Tour back in our state matters. It really matters. It's been 61 years since it was here until last year. And in order for it to stay in today's environment, it absolutely requires a committed partner as the title sponsor. Your role, Brandon, the role of Bank of Utah, is crucial to the success of this tournament and to its sustainability. We are grateful. We note what you do, and we congratulate you and thank you for it.
Well, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Jan. That's very much appreciated. And again, it's been such a pleasure to get to know all the people that we've gotten to learn and grow with through this whole process. So thank you.
Thank you so much. That is Brandon Hanson, the president of Bank of Utah, and Jan.
Wow, it was so fast.
Yeah, amazing. Everything about
this,
amazing.
To finalize everything, that's just. I mean, we're talking millions of dollars.
Yeah. These things don't come cheap.
That's insane.
And Tommy, you know a thing or two about putting on events. You've played in so many. You've been a leader in the Utah golf community for so many years. It matters that these guys have all come together, and the way they did is pretty remarkable, as we just found out. I'm interested in your takeaway from it all, Tommy.
You know, I just think it's such a big event there, and logistically, it's a difficult place because it's not all central in one. There, you know, the hotel, the range, the course, the moving people around, and you know, I think both, you know, Black Desert, Reef, and Bank of Utah did it all a phenomenal job with it. And I think it's really cool to have like a legitimate Utah
go to break, Paul. Let's go.
That actually has a brick and mortar place, like somewhere
it has
that
true ties to us.
True.
Yeah.
I
think that
I can
matters.
think of other sponsors in the past of other events, and
and
I'm just like, what? I've never even heard of that. What are they? What do they do?
Yeah.
You know, and like, honestly, I sat there throughout that segment, was looking at my phone, looking at Bank of Utah and where their locations are, and I think it's really cool.
We said this when Corn Ferry, when they changed to Corn Ferry. We're like, what is Corn Ferry?
What is that?
We looked it up. Yep.
Is this like Disneyland in Nebraska? What are we doing?
I don't know. It's weird.
All right. Okay. Great stuff. All right, Jan, what's next?
Paul, you know what's next.
I do. It's the What's Next segment brought to us by our good friends at the Utah Golf Association. Stick around on the other side. We're going to tell you what's coming up next in Utah Golf. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. Yeah. Utah Golf Radio putting a bow on the show. We learned all about the backstories from the Bank of Utah, Black Desert, fun stuff. And so we're going to talk about what's next here real quick. And that's, let's listen first. Alex, what's next for you?
I'm going to start training to get back to my normal golf, get ready for Bandon Dunes, and start winning some tourneys.
Yes.
Oh, Alex,
he wants to come
you're the
back.
greatest.
He wants to come back on the show. And I told him that he has to win some tournaments so he can come back anytime he wants.
That's the way it works, Alex. It's a simple formula. Ask your dad. You win, I call. That's how it works. So we
Have
sure
fun
appreciate
have
you
fun
being
abandon, yeah.
Yeah, abandon. Alex, you're cooler than me, dude. Just
you see
straight
well,
up.
Dad.
He is
It's
cooler.
great.
He's cooler than us.
He is cooler. Okay, real quick, guys.
Yes.
Today is the day, the last day to post scores to your UGA gin, to your UGA handicap in Northern Utah. The Northern Utah score posting goes dark at the end of today and will not resume until here. You know about it. Today is the day. You can still post Southern Utah scores, but Northern Utah scores will go dark. The posting will go dark after today. All right. Thank you to everybody who is a part of the show. Thank you for listening. Tommy, Alex, thank you for joining us today. We sure appreciate you guys being with us.
Thanks, Paul.
And on behalf
Very
of
welcome, Paul.
thank you. On behalf of everybody involved, this is Paul Pugmire saying, don't jab it like Jan.
Jan Brownstein reminding you to chug it. Don't pug it.
That is good advice. Please replace your divots, fix your ball marks, and for Andy Curtis, don't spit sunflower seeds on the green.
Stop it.
You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network.